Hi, I'm Alicia and welcome to my channel Papercraft Secrets. Today I'm sharing a set of 26 cards that I created for the old and new challenge on the Mintay Papers Facebook page. This is the biggest set of cards I've ever made all at once in a bulk set. To create these cards, I used the beautiful Elodie 6x8 add-on paper pack, the Elodie 6x6 scrapbooking paper pad, the Elodie 27 paper elements, and the Elodie 60 paper die cuts. The old Chippies that I used was this beautiful birdcage set of Chippies, which is one of my most favourite set of Mintay Chippies. And if you haven't purchased any Mintay Chippies, then I do recommend the birdcage set because they're so versatile and they can be used on a variety of cards and layouts. And then I combined the birdcage chippies with some of the newer collection. This first one is a spring collection and it's very, very pretty. It has some gorgeous little bits of bunting and some lovely floral clusters. I also combined this boho chippy, which has dream catchers and pretty circular designs, which are perfect for cards. I painted all of these chippies white with the Mintay Creativa white chalk paint. I used a set of 25 or 26 little note cards from Kmart. I'm not sure now if it was 25 or 26, but I know I ended up adding a couple at the end because I had a little bit of Mintay papers left over. Trust me, there was a lot of cards. So the cards measured 10.5 centimeters by 14.5 centimeters. So I cut my first layer to 10 centimeters by 14 centimeters, and I cut 25 for the front and 25 for the inside. Then I cut my second layer to 9 centimeters by 13 centimeters, and I only needed the front papers for that. So here I am choosing all of the papers that I need from the 6x8 Elodie paper pad. And then I cut those down to the desired size and I glued them all on. Everything was done in a bulk way of card making because it's quicker to do everything, all the little bits at the same time. Once I'd done the front of the cards, it was time to do the inside. I used all of the 6x8 Elodie paper pad on my cards so far. So then I decided to move to my 6x6 Elodie paper pad for the next layer of the cards. So I went through and chose some more papers. The 6x8 paper pad has more plainer designs, and the 6x6 paper pad, the designs are a little bit more detailed and decorative. So I felt that they suited the top layer of the card better. So then I went through and cut all of the top layers for each card, which was 9 centimeters by 13 centimeters. I saved all of the scraps for later. Next, it was time to glue all of those layers down onto my cards. I kept the layers flat for this design and glued the second layer straight onto the first layer of paper. Then it was time for me to have a look at the paper elements, and I chose some tags from the paper elements and some other bits and pieces that I wanted to use on my cards. And then it was time to get out the paper die cuts and have a little look at those and see what I might be able to use on my cards. The next step was to paint all of the chipboard. Now this was quite a big job because there was a lot of things to paint. So the first page I'm painting here is the boho chippy, which has all of the dream catchers and the circular elements on it. Next up, I'm painting the bird cages chippy, and I painted a couple of sheets of this because I had some leftover ones that were loose in my drawer, and then I also had a full sheet, and then I painted the spring chippy. I added some more tags in using the scraps from the card. So I cut the tags off the tags in the paper elements, and then I just used all of the scraps from cutting of the 6x6 paper pad, and I just cut the tags to fit exactly the same so that I had one tag for every single card that I was making. Once I had cut all the tags, then I started to just hole punch all of those tags, and I put some white twine through all of the tags as well. I wanted my tags to have some height on my card, so I have cut some recycled cardboard here that I was going to stick on the back of each of my tags so that they would be elevated from the card. And I positioned them on the right hand side of the card, expecting that I would position my chippy on the left hand side of the card. So another big bulk making session here of doing everything at once. So gluing on the tag first, getting all those tags glued on, and then deciding where to put the chippies. And I started to position my chippies onto my cards. I positioned the tags on the right-hand side of the card, and then I positioned the chippies on the left-hand side of the card to balance it out. I had a lovely time choosing which chippy should go with which card and gluing them on to the front, and you can see how pretty they look. Every card in this set is different because they have a different sort of chippy and they have different embellishments. So even though they all look like a set of cards, they're all unique cards. I also started to add in some of the paper elements. I added some muslin or cheesecloth on top of my chipboard, and then I chose really pretty paper die cuts to add to my cards. Then I had some little lace that I added on and some ribbon in pink and blue that I've added on. And then finally a little bit of a white twine bow. And then very last of all, I added a flower. And this was the recipe that I completed each of the cards with. I really love the way they look. I think they're so pretty. And then it was just going through and continuing that process with all of the cards. And I used some of the paper elements, some of the paper die cuts, and I mixed it all together into a collage on each of the cards. I mainly put the extra paper elements and the die cuts on the right hand side of the card, and I left a lot of space for my flower and my ribbons. It's really, the pictures in these paper elements and paper die cuts are so sweet, just beautiful little birds, ladies with flowers. It's just a beautiful collection. It really is one of my favorite Mintay collections. It's very easy to use. I decided to use the All Occasions sentiment sheet for some of my cards. I didn't want to put sentiments on all my cards because I wanted to keep some blank depending on what occasion that was coming up. So you can see here all of my beautiful cards, 25 or 26 of them bulked together and ready for my stash of cards when I quickly need a birthday card or a thank you card, or in this case I used some for Mother's Day cards as well. And the main thing was that I could keep the cards generic and I can add in a little paper sentiment when I need a card for a specific purpose. So here are my completed cards. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope that you are inspired to create some beautiful Elodie cards with the Mintay Chippies. Doesn't matter if it's a new set of Chippies or an old set of Chippies, you can combine the Chippies together to create beautiful handmade cards. If you want to give your cards an extra mixed media effect, you can use the Creativa paint, and you can use a paintbrush or you can mix it with a little bit of water to get a runny sort of splotched effect on your cards. You can just use some scissors to hit your paintbrush, and that just creates a little bit of a mixed media effect on your cards. If you wanted to add that to your cards, you could. And that brings me to the conclusion of this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make a set of 25 or 26 Elodie cards by Mintay with all of the beautiful Mintay chippies, old and new, and the paper elements and the paper die cuts. Come and join me over on Patreon in the Papercraft Secrets Classroom, a free printable every month and 4 exclusive videos. See the link below. I'd love to see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and have a lovely crafty day.